We lived in the Isle of Wight for some time, and my father was worked for Saunders Row, and he became friends with a person called Mr. Atke, who ran the chandlery in Cowes. And he said one day, he said, "Would you like to go sailing?" And his neighbour was the owner of Yoho, FB1, and I was only 17, and then the whole family were taken out to sail on this boat. And I loved it so much that that's how I made the cadets. Well, the folk boats had their own class at Cowes for some years, and then in 1965 the Cowes Combined Club came along and said, "I'm sorry, you can't have your slot next year, and if you want to sail in Cowes Week, well, you have to go into the handicap." But I was with Tom Husband, who physically made 5 folk boats in his shipyard, and he and I decided we didn't want to do that. We were going to try and find somebody else. So we went down to the Royal Solent at Yarmouth. I mean, it's a superb place to have a regatta anyway. And in 1966, the first event was over the bank holiday, in August bank holiday, and we had 24 boats, 18 engine boats, and 6 who had to take 175 pounds of ballast. And that's really how it all began. And they kept those numbers nearly all the way through. But I mean, in this boat week was an amazing, where we had 57 boats. Well, one of the reasons we chose Yarmouth is that it is possibly one of the only places anywhere I've been in the country where the racecourse, the pubs and the clubs are all within 5 minutes of each other. And this is ideal for the management running regatta. Also the club, an adorable club. It's got lovely views. The staff are very friendly and helpful. The race officers are good, and that was the place to be, and that's why we decided. I used to myself and my secretary used to write the notices of race and that sort of thing, with a little bit of help from other members. And then it was in 1980 I was introduced to Bernard Turner, who happened to be Rear Commodore sailing, and then he started helping me do the notice of race. And Bernard and I worked together for 30 years. And in fact, I think that the continuity that Bernard put into the folk boats every year is probably one of the major reasons for success. Good old Bernard. Thank you, Bernard. I think an interesting fact is that there were a plurality of engine boats in that time, but then in 1970s, just Eric Andreasen started making folk boats. He was building 3 a week, and built, I think, himself or his company, over 120 boats, which was quite amazing. And I think the fact that timber boats are maybe nice to have timber boats, but there's maintenance and looking after them. And the fiberglass boat, there's hardly any maintenance. And this is how they came in the late 1970s. Over here, people were buying them as if they're going out of fashion. I mean, I built marinas, and in the 60s, 70s and 80s, there was a complete boom in the building of boats in this country and in the world. It's calmed down a bit now, but that is a fact here with folk boats. Once the fiberglass came, they were the plurality. And now we've got, with 30 or 40 boats, there's probably only, let's say, something between 5 and 10 cruiser boats with engines. But they race in a separate class now. we need the cruiser boats. We need the two cruisers because they are folk boats, and it's the Folkboat Association. So I think they should stay. Some people have said, oh, let's only have the fiberglass, genuine folk boat. I think it was part of the Folkboat Association many years ago, and long may it last. Maybe a lot of people won't think that, but I do. It's always been well subscribed, and there's always an average of 20 or 30 boats. But then I formed a little committee, and we got to celebrate the 50th year, and we were trying to get more than 50 boats in the 50th celebration. And believe it or not, we had 57 boats, which I think is fantastic. And I think it was a highlight. I think it's going to nearly, well, I'm sure that a lot more people are going to come to Folkboat Week. Well, it would be nice to keep on having a lot more boats, but I don't think it's practical, because in this particular celebration, Folkboat Week, we had 57 boats, but 180 people wanted to have a dinner at the prize-giving party at the end of the week. But if it keeps on going bigger and bigger, I'm not quite sure how we could accommodate everybody. It was a fantastic boat. You couldn't refit. It was quite safe. In fact, when my son was only about a year old, I put a hook on the top of the up here and put him in a basket, and we sail over to France. It's safe. It's simple. It's just a wonderful boat, I think. There's been quite a few folk boats have gone across the Atlantic, and no one's gone around the world in a folk boat, because it's not. But I think they put in a self-draining cockpit for the dock boats which were going across the Atlantic. Keep it simple, stupid. Look, it's a lovely boat.